Maxpeedingrods just sent over their DQ36 universal car stereo. This is a 7-inch display and it fits in a standard size double DIN radio. A quick rundown of the key features. This is built on the Android 13 operating system, so you're gonna have all the latest features and, more importantly, the latest security features. We also get the must-have features: Apple Carplay and Android Auto. We got mirror link to screen mirror your phone onto the screen. And on the side, this is a quick rundown of the specs. 4-core processor, DDR3, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of memory. And you can see right here, the resolution is 1020 by 600 pixels. Yeah, now let's get into the good stuff. Woo. We get a little pamphlet on how to reach out to Maxpeedingrods. Ooh, this is a pretty thick outer trim piece. Typically the trim pieces on other car stereos are very thin. This looks really nice and thick. A pair of prying tools to safely take apart your dashboard. Universal mounting brackets. A microfiber towel to keep it clean. And we get a bunch of wiring. Oh, what did we just drop? Looks like a USB to USB-C adapter. We get one USB cable, a cable for the backup camera, a cable for all of your auxiliary inputs and, I suppose, outputs. We get a second USB cable, a standard 16-pin Android power harness, and a GPS antenna. And of course, we saved the best for last. Let's check out the main. Oh, there's more. Hold up. Nice looking user manual with a bunch of detailed information on how to get this set up. Cool. All right, and now for the star of the show. Woo, there we go. This is the Maxpeedingrods DQ36, and it looks really nice. I gotta say, just the appearance alone looks pretty clean. Here we go with the bezel piece. Looks like a solid unit right here. Cool. So it looks like we got two provisions or holes right here. I'm assuming one is for the microphone and one is the hard reset. Below those two holes, we got a physical volume knob. It feels very subtle when I turn it. We got a front-facing USB port and a USB-C. And this is possibly for the external microphone. Guess we'll find out shortly. We got the Maxpeedingrods logo down here. It's on the left side. You got like a little textured finish, like a darker gunmetal gray. So right here is where your 16-pin power harness is gonna go. We got a 15 amp mini fuse. Has a built-in functional fan. Believe it or not, I've seen some car stereos that have a provision for a fan, but there's no physical fan. This is where all the additional cords are gonna go for your auxiliary inputs, outputs, backup camera. This is for your radio antenna, GPS antenna, and 4G antenna. It did say that you could install a micro SD, but I don't see a slot anywhere. So I just realized something interesting. This is the Maxpeedingrods stereo, and this is the Aenon car stereo. And you clearly see that the rear looks exactly the same. They both have that center logo, whatever that is, for the fan, and everything is laid out exactly the same. Up top, this one says Aenon. The Maxpeedingrods doesn't have a logo right there. But even though the back is identical, the Maxpeedingrods has that provision for the 4G network. The Aenon doesn't have anything. But when we turn them both to the side, the Aenon is much more bulkier than the Maxpeedingrods. They both have USB ports. Oh, that must be an auxiliary port right here for the Maxpeedingrods on the bottom. The Aenon has a button for the home button, and I'm assuming that pressing on this might be the home button on the Maxpeedingrods, or it might just be mute. Interesting. Okay, let's check out the user interface. These three icons on the left: home, back, and this is your multitasker. Just in case you're having any issues, you could clear all, and it'll close all of the apps and help it run a little bit smoother or better. On the right hand side, you're going to get icons for Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or if you have a flash drive installed. We get a couple of navigation bars. The one on the left hand side, you get 4 icons. This phone icon is to Bluetooth to your iPhone or Android Auto. Underneath is your Bluetooth settings, just in case you don't have an iPhone or Android device. This is for your navigation. You can set this to Google Maps or the built-in iGo navigation. Based on what Google is telling me, I'm just gonna remove it because I'm most likely not gonna use it anyways. And this last icon is gonna take you to the app list. So you're gonna see all the different apps that are installed on this car stereo. The lower navigation bar is gonna give you the date and time. And these are pretty much just quick access icons. See these icons with the plus sign, you can add whatever app you'd like. So let's add YouTube. Let's say we don't want Google Maps, we'll delete that and that. And then we got these 2 widgets in the center. You can actually scroll to the next page. Okay, so let's dive into Apple CarPlay. This is pretty much the interface you're gonna be on if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android phone, there's Android Auto, but we'll get to that in a moment. So here's Apple CarPlay. This is gonna look the same on any other device that supports Apple CarPlay, because technically Apple CarPlay is just an app installed on the car stereo. So you'll see here you get navigation and your music player. You can tap either one to go full screen. Whoops. The apps shown on here are just going to be the supported apps on Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay is designed to minimize driving distractions, so you're only going to have access to music apps that are on your phone and navigation apps. You can also listen to text messages, make phone calls, and you can even interact with Siri. And if you look to the right hand side, see this little transparent looking arrow? You can tap on this and it's going to pull up these apps right here. Pretty cool. It's actually useful because I do like to hop over to YouTube randomly. So let's say you're tired of your iPhone and you want to use Android Auto. Here is Android Auto. You'll notice that Android Auto looks very similar to CarPlay. You got the navigation and music player. I do like that the navigation is a little bit bigger because I think it's a little more important to see your map versus a split screen of the music player. So again, you can tap either one, navigation for full screen. Tap down here and you can go into music. Pretty cool. Your recent app, I suppose. Yeah, boom. Okay, we'll go over here to the app list and you can see that it also loads apps that are only supported for, and you'll see that it only loads supported apps from your phone that are meant for minimizing driving distractions. Again, you get this little quick access icon to go to whatever app you'd like. Boom. Whether you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you're gonna get this nice looking interface on your car stereo. All right, so let's say you don't want to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Maybe you have a bunch of MP3s that you have been holding on to for a long time and you want to use a USB flash drive instead. So you can plug this in. You get this nice interface. I like how you can see the album artwork. Some car stereos don't have that feature. Down below, you'll get a navigation bar to interact with your music files. LRC. Oh, that's going to show lyrics. Cool. Just in case you have lyrics on here. You can tap this to see your music playlist or all of the music files. You can sort music by artists, sort music by albums. And just in case you created any folders, boom. And they even show you how many files are in each folder that you created. Pretty cool. You can skip music by tapping on the bar down there. Cool. And it goes from like a light blue to pink or purple. That's going to take you straight to the equalizer, which we'll check out in a moment. Now down right here is going to take you to the equalizer. There's a lot of different options in here. You get an equalizer and you could play with the settings by just dragging your finger across. Pretty nice. You got 5 presets right here: standard, rock, popular, jazz, and classical. And just in case you don't want this graph, you're gonna be more precise with your frequencies, you can tap on here and you can adjust them individually. Here you could distribute the power to each speaker. I like using this to figure out which speaker is working. You could put all the power to one speaker and see if they're on or off. Here you could adjust the low pass filter. Okay, this changes the frequency for heavy bass output. Volume is going to adjust the power of the bass output. And this is the channel output volume. So if you have those auxiliary ports hooked up for audio, it's pretty much the same as this right here. See, we go to the passenger front, look at that, front, right, and everything else is down. Boom, front left, see, front left is up, and all of these are down. All right, let's check out the radio interface. I'm not sure why it says radio emergency, who knows? But this is the radio interface. It looks pretty nice and modern looking. So I like the fact that it does match the music player. Right here are all of the frequencies. You can save up to 6 frequencies, or actually more. You could save a lot. It'll just tap and hold and it'll save. Boom, 90.70. You'll notice you get the radio information right there. Pretty cool. So besides Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, there's actually a second feature called screen mirroring. If you tap down here, you can access wired mirroring. You plug in your phone with the wired connection. I'm going to use this USB port on the front. Now your phone is mirrored onto this display. And it's actually pretty fast. I've checked, Netflix and Hulu do not work on here. And YouTube, it's nice, it's fast. But unfortunately, check this out. Dash cam, or you can flip it around and use it as a sort of... The audio doesn't play through the speakers. The audio plays through the phone instead. In my opinion, the only benefit to screen mirror is to go on YouTube full screen and just use your phone to navigate through YouTube to put on videos. But that's not the case here. If I'm playing, the audio plays through my phone. If I turn off my phone, the video stops playing. So, in my opinion, the screen mirror isn't very useful on the Maxpeedingrods head unit for iPhones. There is a way to fix the audio issue with the iPhone. If you look down here, you got wireless mirroring. On your iPhone, you could go to Screen Mirror, ZJ AirPlay. The video quality doesn't look as good as a wired connection, and there is a slight delay. But if we go on YouTube, now we get audio. CarPlay and Android Auto. Whoa, pretty loud. All right, now with the Android device, I couldn't seem to get a wired connection to work. It's probably because I don't have an original Android wire to connect to the stereo, but I did find that the wireless connection does work. So tap on here for wireless mirroring, tap Android. It's going to give you directions on to download this app called Z Plus. So in here, you'll tap wireless connection, and then you can start screen projection. And there you go. Again, since it's a wireless connection, there's a little bit of a delay. YouTube does seem to work. But it looks really low quality. You get audio. But if you turn off your phone, the screen just goes black too. I also checked out Netflix and Hulu. Here in Netflix, the video will play on your phone, but you get nothing on the screen except some subtitles. On Hulu, you get the video on your phone, audio on the car stereo, but nothing on the display. So on Android, your Hulu and Netflix are going to work fine on the phone, and you're going to get audio to the car. But on the iPhone, Hulu and Netflix just don't play at all. So there's that. Let's check out the apps installed on the car stereo. So you're going to get a few generic apps like gallery, music, and video. Those three are going to apply to your flash drive. So with your flash drive hooked up, you'll be able to check out the photos, the music, which you guys have already seen, and videos. So here in gallery, it loads up all of the images. And I wonder if I could set the image as my background. Yep, I think so. There we go. Yeah, that looks a little bit better in my opinion. Yeah, I like that. Okay, Google. This is pretty much the Google web browser. GPS monitor. That's if you have the GPS antenna hooked up. When it's hooked up, you'll see information on both parts. We already got Netflix pre-installed here. Pretty cool. Because this is an Android car stereo, we got the Google Play Store, so you could download additional apps. You could pretty much download any app on here. In case you run into a problem like this, let's go to Hulu. Looking for Hulu, this app won't work on your device. There's actually a bypass on downloading the APK file, and you can manually install it without using the Google Play Store. Personally, I would use the Play Store to download YouTube, but YouTube is already installed on the car stereo right there. And I gotta say, the YouTube app does work pretty nicely in here. I've used it for the past week now. And the first time I started up the car stereo and connected it to internet, it did crash like 2 times. But ever since then, after being connected to the internet and doing whatever it needs to do on the internet, like updates or whatever, now everything seems to work fine and I haven't had any issues. I haven't really had any delay in videos. You know, it just depends on your phone's internet or phone connection. In case you want to listen to music through an auxiliary, you'll plug it up right here and just tap that. And I also believe that you could hook up a PlayStation and play through here as well with the red, yellow, and white auxiliary ports in the back. Here you could manually turn on your fan. Okay, you even get an image showing that it's running right now. Spotify is already pre-installed. Here you can change the theme just in case you don't like the layout. We got a total of 5 different layouts. Let's try this one. Wow, that's actually pretty nice looking. I like this, actually. I don't really know what this is now. Whoa, yeah, this looks way better. What the heck? Cool, the icons look nice and consistent-ish. Okay, well, there's actually a bunch of different themes you could choose from. Pretty cool. I'm actually pretty surprised about that. Like, this looks pretty nice and modern. Really simplistic. Yeah, and you even got the little fast icon dock right here. Whatever you want to access to quickly. Pretty nice. Cool. Now let's get into settings. Now this is where it definitely looks like the Anon interface for settings. It looks exactly the same. Obviously in network, this is where you'll manage your Wi-Fi connection or hotspot and tethering. Device, apps. This is pretty much the Android interface to manually manage apps. This is pretty much all the Android backend stuff, if you're familiar with the Android operating system. Personal, you can manage your Google account, date and time, language, system. Just in case you have any issues, you could reset the entire car stereo, or you could just erase all settings. Assembly, you can set up your steering wheel controls. Radio settings, you could turn on RDS, which shows the radio station information. This car stereo didn't come with the backup camera, so I can't show you guys that. And canvas settings. Okay. And that's pretty much it for the settings. There we go. All done.